In a world where 1 in 4 struggled with challenges to their mental health, there were some who managed to find recovery. Seeking to discover the pathways to mental health recovery, one champion consulted with those who had returned to wellness, and they shared the secrets to their success. That champion was Mary Ellen Copeland, and she noticed that most people who are successful in recovering from mental health challenges seem to have 5 things in common. She labeled these the 5 key concepts of mental health recovery. Hope, the belief that things could get better. Personal responsibility, the knowledge that they would have to put in effort in order to find their dreams and achieve their goals. Education, about their condition and what they could do to overcome it. Self-advocacy, giving voice to their desires and speaking up for themselves. Support, a personal network of people to turn to. As she traveled the land sharing her findings, someone noted that they were unsure of how to put such concepts to work in their life. Mary Ellen worked for several days with a group of people in recovery like herself, and they planned a method for putting wellness into action. That method came to be called WRAP, the Wellness Recovery Action Plan.
Hi, my name is Michael Hardy, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to talk to you today. Today I'd like to talk about several things, tell you a little bit about myself, and about the Wellness Recovery Action Plan, and how you can build one to help yourself stay well when you're not feeling, and to help yourself feel better when you don't feel well. So a little bit about myself. As I said, my name is Michael Hardy. I'm a peer support specialist. And what that means is that I'm someone who's had some challenges to my mental health. I've struggled with that for most of my life, but I've also had some recovery, and I've managed to overcome some of those challenges. And peer support has been something that has been very helpful to me. So that's one of the reasons why I like working in this field. So, the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. As you notice in the name of the plan, action. That's because the Wellness Recovery Action Plan is built out of things that you do. Actions. Things, not things like sitting around waiting for something to happen, but things that you do, steps that you take. So, the Wellness Recovery Action Plan, as you go through, you build, the whole plan is made out of actions that we call wellness tools. So there's what we call a wellness toolbox, and that's a list of things that you do to help yourself feel better when you don't feel well, and to keep yourself feeling well when you are feeling well. What do you do to help yourself feel better? For some people, this is getting enough rest. That's important to me. For other people, it might be taking a shower every day, or exercise. Some people feel better after they exercise. So that's a list of a wellness tool that they use. Some people like to do artwork, listen to music. Whatever it is that you do to help yourself feel well, that would go on your list of wellness tools. Later we're going to see how those wellness tools, those actions, can be important in maintaining your wellness and moving toward wellness when you don't feel well. So, after we have the wellness toolbox built with things, and we can add to that list of actions, then we have the daily maintenance list. Now, the daily maintenance list has 3 parts to it. The first part is, what do I look like when I'm well? This is a picture of essentially what you look like when you're well, or how you'd like to feel when you're well. You can use the WRAP plan for goal setting and move towards the thing that you want to be. For me, what I look like when I'm well, it reminds me of a song we used to sing in the Cub Scouts. I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic. That's what I'm like when I'm well. How about you? So the second part of the daily maintenance list is things I need to do every day to stay well. We all have things that we know we have to do every day, and when we don't do those things, we just don't feel well. So, for some people it might be brush your teeth. For some people it might be eat breakfast. For some people it might be um, uh, exercise. I know people who can't go a day without exercise. They just don't feel right if they don't exercise. Um, so might be, I know another fellow says he doesn't leave the house without prayer and meditation. Um, so what are the things that you do every day? The next part is things that I might do periodically, like once a week or once a month. So these would be things like paying the bills or going to the grocery store, or it could be other things that you might do when you need a little boost. When your wellness isn't doing so well, and so it might be a wellness tool that you don't use every day, and you don't do it once a month or once a week, but you do it whenever you just need a little extra boost. Periodically, I like to call my brother and talk to him for a while. Um, he's one of my supporters, and just talking to him for a while gives my wellness a boost. It's just something that I like. And you do the things that you can have the things that you do uh, once a month. Uh, you know, my wife goes too long without dusting. She feels frustrated. Doesn't like the way the house gets. Um, so the next step in the Wellness Recovery Action Plan is called the triggers. So you build a list of triggers, and triggers are things that might be external things. They might be smells that bring back a memory. Um, Smells are very powerful. I can smell chocolate chip cookies, and I'm just in my head. I'm transported back to my grandmother's kitchen. Uh, but on the other hand, they can also be. There may be a particular sound that is unsettling to you because it recalls a trauma that you went through. Um, for example, gunfire could be a trigger for someone, and it could, be something that causes them to feel unwell. Um, so that's an example, and we each have triggers that they're a list of things that you're going to make for yourself that you recognize. Okay, I have difficulty when I run into these things. And then we're going to make a triggers action plan. Now, the triggers action plan uses those wellness tools that you want to use in that circumstance when you encounter a trigger. For me, people yelling at me is a trigger. Um, and so, some people, they might have an action plan where their wellness tool that they're going to use for their triggers. When I encounter this trigger, I'm going to count to 10. I heard someone say the other day, okay, count to 500. That's what works for her. Um, but so you have a triggers, that you list of things that you know that could cause you difficulty, and an action plan about what you're going to do when you run into those things. So next up is warning signs. Warning signs are things that might be internal signals, like you feel like your heart is beating faster, or you notice you're becoming short of breath, or easily distracted. Hey, look, a squirrel. Um, these are things where it's a warning sign. I like to think of this as a kind of a red flag. And the red flag, it's to tell you that something's going, it's a warning. Then you build a warning signs action plan that's going to be using wellness tools, those actions that you use when you run into a warning sign. So if I notice I'm becoming short of breath, I might do some deep breathing exercises. If I'm becoming agitated or nervous, I might do some relaxation exercises. Those are wellness tools that work for me in that situation. What works for you? Next, so you have a warning signs and warning signs action plan. Sometimes we find that when things start to break down, when things are breaking down, what does that look like? So oftentimes these are signs that may be visible to other people. So, if you're becoming agitated or irritated or feeling particularly irritable and grouchy, that might be something that you may notice yourself, but that may start to become obvious to other people. One of your supporters might say, Michael, one of my supporters might say, Michael, um, you seem irritable, and you told me that sometimes that might be a sign that things are breaking down, and you asked me to point it out to you. Um, and that might be helpful to me. Okay, if I've asked my supporters to try and help me notice those things. When things are breaking down, then I have an action plan for when things are breaking down, what am I going to do? And these are steps I'm going to take. Now, the more you get into your different action plans, you start to become more detailed. One of them might be I'm going to look at my daily maintenance list and I'm going to do all the things on it. When I first learned about the RAP plan, I heard that and I said, why do I need to keep going back to my daily maintenance list? Don't I do those things every day? And, you may find that you read your daily maintenance plan every day and you do those things and you get to where you don't have to actually look at the list. A lot of people post it on their refrigerator or keep it with them so that they can refer to it. But oftentimes we find that we get used to referring to it and we don't have to look at it all the time. However, I have also learned that when I didn't look at the list every day, or when I started to have difficulty, sometimes it was because I wasn't looking at the list. I wasn't doing those things I know I need to do. So could be action plans. That might be one of your action plans as wellness tools. So go back and look at what things you need to do every day and make sure you did every one of them. If those things keep you well and you know you need to do them every day, okay, that's a good time to do them. Now, sometimes despite our best efforts, we may get a point where we need other people to step in and help us care for ourselves. And where we're in an actual crisis, where we're maybe a danger to ourselves or to someone else. And so you need a crisis plan. Now, this is a very detailed set of things that you're going to do. And it starts with what do I look like when I'm well? If you're going to share your crisis plan with somebody and they're going to have it in your, if they have it on file or one of your supporters, they need to know what you look like when you're well. So one person might be talkative, one person might be reserved, and for each of those people, the opposite might be an indication that they're not well. So, what is the picture of wellness for you? What do you like when you're well? And you can copy this part straight from your daily maintenance list, where you made a list of things there that help you, what you look like when you're well. Next up are going to be signs that maybe somebody needs to take over. If I'm out there running down the middle of the freeway in traffic, that's a sign that things are not going well for me, and I would like my supporters to know that that's the time when I need some assistance. For me, I don't use drugs or alcohol. I've learned that that's a way for me to a way that doesn't work for me. I've spent a number of years and I've proven to myself that it works far better to do it different, to not do that. So if I'm heavily using drugs or alcohol, that's a sign that some things have gone very wrong for me. So on your crisis plan, you might have a list of things, what things are helpful for you, what things are not helpful. For me, seclusion is not very helpful. It helps me to be around people. That's the thing that I do is I withdraw, and I need to be, have the opportunity to be around people and be reminded that, Michael, you said that helps you. Restraint, I don't care for restraint much. That's very frustrating. Chemical restraint can be frustrating because I feel like my brain's tied up. I don't care for that either. So things that do help me, that's how I want to have a list of what is helpful. It helps me to process things by talking. And so if people can listen to me, that helps me. Also on your crisis plan, you would have a list of your doctors and the medications that they prescribed and contact numbers for your doctors and their names and their phone numbers, how you people can get a hold of them. Same with your pharmacy, so that they can refer to that. Um, you also want to have a list of supporters and things that people that you would like to have help you. Maybe some people in your supporters, you want them to be notified. Um, Maybe other people you don't want them to be notified. I love my mother, but when I'm not in a bad way, she'd like to put a band-aid on it, and it doesn't help. She worries about me, and at a time when there's cause for worry, and I'd rather spare her that, and so I don't want her notified when I'm having difficulty with my mental health. On the other hand, I want my brother to be notified, um, and he knows to not tell mom. Uh, you may have people, if you have pets or children that need taken care of, you may have arrangements that need to be made with, someone needs to tell someone to do something with that. You left your car unlocked in a parking lot, or locked, or parked somewhere that, maybe you want to contact your supporters about, things that need to be taken care of. Um, Please call my boss and tell him I won't be to work for a while. Uh, Also, you also want to have facilities. If there's facilities where you would prefer to be to stay, and receive care, you can specify that. You can also specify where you don't want to go. I know somebody who said that she prefers to go to a Swedish hospital in Seattle because they have the best pudding. There's another hospital where she doesn't care to go. I asked her if they have bad pudding, and she said it's not about the pudding. But at any rate, you can specify these things, and if available, that's a way for them to know your preferences, so that when in the event that you don't feel well, and they say, if they were to tell me, Michael, you're not thinking clearly, you don't seem to have insight about your condition, and you can't be trusted to take care of yourself, we need to take care of you, and so we can't take your word for it. If I have a crisis plan, I can show that, if they have that, I can show that to them and say, look, I came up with this plan when I was thinking just fine. So it's an opportunity for you to make your wishes known, even maybe at a point where you can't express yourself, or where people don't trust what you have to say because of the condition you're in. So the crisis plan used to be the end of the RAP plan, but people pointed out that sometimes we get to a place where we're out of a crisis, we're no longer a danger to ourselves or anyone else, but we're not ready to resume all of our daily activities, not ready to go back to work, not ready to pick up everything. And so Mary Ellen got together with some more people, and they worked on creating a post-crisis plan. And the post-crisis plan is to help you to transition back to your daily activities. For instance, if you've been staying somewhere like a hospital or some type of inpatient facility or respite place, where do you want to go when you leave there? Do you want to go home? Do you want to go to a friend's house? Who do you want to take you there? Who do you want to be there? Are there things at home that you need help with? If you know that maybe you need help getting a place cleaned up, that I'd like someone to come help me do that. Or I'd like someone to, you may need more than to just have somebody drop you off or put you in a cab or give you a bus fare. And you can specify the things that help you transition back. Also in your post-crisis plan, you can specify, okay, I'm going to build a schedule of how I'm going to return to my daily activities. For instance, if I'm trying to return back to work, maybe I don't want to go back to work full-time right away. Maybe I'll start with half a day. In the first week, I'll go half a day for 3 days. In the second week, I'll go half a day for 5 days. And the third week, I'll go half a day for most of the week, but on 3 days, I'll go for whole days. And the fourth week, maybe I'll go for whole days, only I'll take Wednesday off. And so I can have a detailed schedule or a plan of how I can gradually return to work. And that's one example of things that I could do in my post-crisis plan. You could do whatever works for you. And then you can resume your daily activities. How you can also have your, a list in there of how your supporters are going to know when you are able to return your daily activities. So those are the parts of the Wellness Recovery Action Plan: daily maintenance list, triggers and a triggers action plan, warning signs and a warning signs action plan, when things are breaking down and the when things are breaking down action plan, and finally the crisis plan and the post-crisis plan. So those are the parts of the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. And you can look it up online through the Copeland Center or Wellness Recovery Action Plan. You can put that in Google and find it very easily. And you can find out where you can find someone to help you build a RAP plan for yourself. So if you're build a RAP plan, so got RAP, stay well.